Hey, it's Neil's on Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Buy some platinum, some silver, some crystallized osmium. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Don't listen to me. And this is to be taken as bullshit. It's for fun, entertainment, not to be taken as financial advice, although I do give out some good advice. We're going to start this off with some fun stuff, since I like lightning. Kind of cool stuff, huh? I do like my lightning. So now we're going to go see what, I don't know. Let's see some galactic problems that Darth Vader might be concerned with.
Advanced tech in the galaxy, but still no decent coffee maker. Oops. How the hell do you lose one sock on a goddamn space station? I mean, where does it go? Don't give me that smug little beep. That was one good move, not a Sith prophecy.
Sir, can I ask a personal question?
No.
Thank you very much, Langy.
Whoever parked the TIE fighter in my spot, move it. Or I'm force towing it into a sun. Is it too much cake? I mean, it's a lot of cake. But then again, look at that drama. But
No, it's not Space
if you're going
Ghost,
to choke
but it's
people from
close.
across the room, might as well look fabulous.
Might be.
This is either the nicest thing Luke's ever done, as far as a gift goes, or he is being sarcastic. Huh. Family is tough. He keeps force choking during team meetings. It's demotivating. Who wrote this? Let's circle back to Alderaan's status. Oh wait, we blew it the fuck up. Moving on.
Isn't it funny how we rule the galaxy, yet still wait for elevators like peasants?
The dark side bends worlds. Making this elevator move without a weight, that's real power. You ever look out into the galaxy and think, what if I just opened a noodle bar on Naboo? Sometimes I take cold showers just to feel something through the armor.
Sir, I have a degree in astroengineering.
And I have a planet-killing laser. We all have our hobbies.
So, big plans this weekend?
Genocide. I would subscribe if I were you. Don't underestimate the power of the dark side. And my force-fried noodles.
Now let's go to another totally funny. This is how ridiculous England is in a humorous way. This is British police showing off. It's the Babylon Beat. British police showing off dangerous confiscated weapons.
Good morning.
We've called this press briefing to draw attention to the commendable work being carried out by our local bobbies.
That means police officers. In England.
As you may be aware, we've undertaken sustained efforts to reduce violence and violence-adjacent behavior in order to restore a sense of safety to our streets. Thus, without further ado, here are the dastardly weapons of destruction we have confiscated this week. This stabbing implement was found on a suspect in the tube. Luckily, we managed to confiscate it before the suspect managed to do any harm or got to primary school. This terrifying implement was discovered on a 5-year-old walking down Northampton Shirvingshire Boulevard last week. He was apprehended and sent to time out. We found these dangerous sets of stabbing prongs from a gentleman of Asian descent. We believe he may have been planning a mass eye poking with these deadly weapons. Several of our bobbies recently noticed a group of eco-terrorists wielding these dangerous turtle asphyxiators. Horrifying. You'll be most assured to know that these despicable deadly beverage enthusiasts have been apprehended and are presently facing justice in the court of law. A would-be terrorist was wearing these in broad daylight over the weekend. Think of the persons that might have been slapped. Bob, please demonstrate. This is a spoon. Constable Bob, how'd that get in there? This is not a terrorist weapon. This has a rich cultural significance and brilliant craftsmanship. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar!
A tiny sword. A tiny spear. A tiny book of bigotry. A fully semi-automatic aquatic assault rifle. And finally, the scariest weapon of all. We've confiscated these from a man who looked like he might use them to hurt someone.
He's been disarmed.
Well, there you have it. Thousands of British citizens are safer because of our important work. And remember, if you see something, say something, unless they're Muslim.
Allahu Akbar!
I couldn't help myself on that one. Let's go to some more important stuff, I guess, other than making me laugh my ass off. Oh, hey, let's find out exactly what beeswax is. This is the history of simple things. I got 500,000 subscribers. Give them a thumbs up. Let's see what the hell they have to say. First part is on intro. More than just honey. Dun, dun, dun. It's money.
When you think of bees, your first thought might be honey, maybe even pollination. But what about beeswax? That golden, fragrant substance tucked inside beehives has been around for centuries, used by ancient Egyptians, Roman healers, and even in modern cosmetics and candles.
Yeah.
But
money,
what
money,
exactly
money.
is beeswax? How do bees make it? And why is it so valuable? Even today.
Another thing about beeswax, when he said candles, the Roman Catholic Church has mandated that their candles that they use have to be 90% beeswax. So when I hear people say, oh, I can't liquidate platinum, I can't liquidate this, I can't liquidate that, well, get into beeswax and beekeeping, because you have a guaranteed customer in the Roman Catholic Church for all of your beeswax to be turned into candles. Guaranteed customer.
Today, let's get into it right here on History of Simple Things.
Give me a call, Pete. I'll try and help you out whatever I can.
To understand beeswax, let's start at its source, the honeybee. Beeswax is a natural wax produced by honeybees of the genus Apis. In
Apis.
fact, it comes from special glands located on the underside of a worker bee's abdomen. But not just any bee can make wax. Only the young worker bees, usually between 12 and 20 days old, are capable of producing it.
And having that knowledge, you should also be able to put together real quickly that they will only swarm if they have a new brood of about 10 to 20 days old, because they will only carry enough wax when they swarm to make one house, one honeycomb area. So that's why if you see the bees, a swarm of bees land, and they're not starting to make a comb, that's not going to be their choice house. They'll find somewhere else. But when they swarm, they only have enough wax underneath the new babies or new bees' stomachs to create one house. So when they do decide to create a house, that's their permanent location.
These bees consume honey or nectar for energy. Then, their bodies convert the sugars into wax, which is secreted in small flakes or scales through tiny pores on their abdomen.
What's up, Chris?
The scales are about the size of a pinhead and look a bit like translucent fish scales when they first emerge.
This is what you get for making me upset.
Once secreted, the worker bees collect the wax scales with their legs, chew them with their mandibles, mix in a bit of saliva and enzymes, and then shape them into hexagonal cells. These perfect hexagons form the honeycomb, used to store honey, pollen, and all so as nurseries for developing bee larvae. But building a hive isn't easy. It takes a lot of energy. In fact, bees must consume roughly 8 pounds of honey to produce just 1 pound of beeswax. That's part of what makes it so precious. Unlike honey, which is harvested and replenished each season, beeswax is more labor-intensive and slower to produce. So, what do we do with beeswax? Turns out a lot. Beeswax is incredibly versatile. It's waterproof, moldable when warm, and has a pleasant, subtle scent. Humans have been using it for more than 2,000 years. One of the earliest recorded uses, mummification. The ancient Egyptians used beeswax in embalming practices, believing it could help preserve the body in the afterlife. It was also used to seal ships, polish furniture, and even write documents, like sealing letters with wax stamps. Today you'll find beeswax in candles, which burn cleaner and longer than paraffin. Cosmetics like lip balms, lotions, and creams, thanks to its moisturizing and skin-protecting properties. Food wraps as a sustainable alternative to plastic wrap. wood polish to restore shine and protect furniture, even in pharmaceuticals, as a base for ointments and salves. Let's talk a bit more about candles. Before the advent of electricity, beeswax candles were prized for their bright, steady flame and minimal smoke. Unlike tallow candles made from animal fat, beeswax candles didn't release a foul odor. Churches and royalty often reserved beeswax candles for their ceremonies and halls because they were expensive and symbolically pure. Even today, many people choose beeswax candles for their natural scent and clean-burning quality. They don't release harmful byproducts like paraffin candles might, and they emit negative ions that can help purify the air. Whether or not that last part is scientifically proven, it's safe to say a beeswax candle brings a certain warmth and calm that's hard to beat.
Moving with the rhythm like a whirlwind, twisting, dropping every line with precision, no missing. Hit 'em with a venom when I pin it down.
In skincare, beeswax serves an important purpose. It acts as a humectant, drawing moisture to the skin while forming a protective barrier. That's why it's in so many balms, salves, and lotions. It helps the skin stay hydrated without clogging pores. Plus, its natural anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties are great for sensitive or irritated skin. And if you're trying to go zero waste or reduce plastic use, you've probably seen beeswax wraps. These cloths, coated in a blend of beeswax, resin, and oil, can be molded with the heat of your hands to cover bowls, wrap sandwiches, or store produce. They're reusable, washable, and compostable. It's a brilliant way beeswax is helping fight plastic pollution. So how do humans harvest beeswax? After honey is extracted, there's often a layer of wax, called cappings, that covers the honeycomb cells. Beekeepers remove these cappings during honey harvesting. These scraps of wax are collected, cleaned, and filtered. The cleaning process usually involves melting the wax down and straining out impurities like dead bees, pollen, and bits of wood. The result? Blocks of solid, pure beeswax ready for use. Depending on how much it's processed, beeswax can be yellow, white, or brownish. Yellow is raw and only lightly filtered. White beeswax is bleached or filtered more thoroughly and often used in cosmetics. Brown beeswax might contain more impurities or propolis, another compound found in hives. And yes, there are alternatives to beeswax, like soy wax, paraffin, or candelilla wax, but none of them offer quite the same qualities. Beeswax is natural, biodegradable, and has that signature sweet honey aroma. For many people, that alone makes it a favorite. In many ways, beeswax is a beautiful example of nature and utility combining effortlessly. It's made by one of the planet's most important pollinators. It's sustainable, useful, and ancient. From lighting sacred spaces centuries ago to moisturizing your lips today, beeswax continues to be a quietly powerful substance in our daily lives. So the next time you light a candle, use a lip balm or unroll a beeswax wrap, think about where it came from. Each one traces back to the hard work of bees inside the hive. That simple product in your hand began as a delicate wax flake, crafted by nature.
Beeswax is created by, hey, what's up, Frank? Is created by nature, and it has so many good holistic benefits to man, and it's a total natural now we do have synthetics, obviously, but if you can get a hold of the real thing, like they said, for lip balm, for candles, man, it's just for everyone here who's a stacker of precious metals and stuff like that, I would suggest have a beehive or two and start stacking honey and beeswax, because if we do have hard times, two things that every human being on this planet are going to need is food and warmth and light. Beeswax candles cover the warmth and light, and honey is an awesome thing to add to bland foods that gives you, well, as I call it, manna from heaven. Let me see what else I got here to share. I know I got a whole bunch of good stuff. Oh, here we go. Speaking of all the stackers that are on the show, this is the history. This is Rare Collectibles TV, rare and historical. I gave him a thumbs up. This is the history of the Carson City Mint with Robert Nile. I think I was on Frostbite Coins show, and someone was talking about Carson City. Not too many people had a lot of in-depth information about it, so I found this video and I'm going to show it.
The year was 1859, and the Great Comstock Silver Lode was discovered in the northern region of the Nevada Territory. The amount of silver was so great that it became difficult to transport it to the closest mint, which was in San Francisco.
The location was determined, I think, for several reasons. One, that the local people here, not only in Carson City, but up in Virginia City and other mining communities around here, they wanted a mint in northern Nevada, this area here. And the closest mint was San Francisco, and they felt like that was too far to ship their bullion to. They wanted something closer.
The U.S. government determined it needed a coining facility closer to the silver mines. So on March 3rd of 1863, Congress passed legislation to establish a new mint, the sixth mint in the Nevada Territory, 18 months before Nevada would become a state.
So Carson City made a strong effort. Abe Curry, the founder of Carson and associated with the mint, and others lobbied and got Congress to look and consider Carson City for a site for a mint. And indeed, in 1863, during the Nevada territorial period, they determined that they were going to build a mint here.
The government bought a small tract of land in 1865, but because the U.S. was in the middle of the Civil War, construction on the new mint did not begin until the summer of 1866. Many problems plagued the construction for over 3 years. And they went over budget by nearly 200%. Finally, after spending over $426,000, the mint was ready in fall of 1869. The mint opened months later in January of 1870, even though none of the coin dies had yet been delivered from Philadelphia.
Well, the mint began operations in 1870, and February is actually when the first coins were minted.
And on that first historic day, the Carson City Mint pressed its first coin, a seated Liberty Dollar. It was the first of 56 million coins to bear the distinctive CC Mint mark. The mint opened with just one steam-powered coin press, aptly named Coin Press No. 1. The press could produce up to 100 coins per minute, but due to the high demand of coins from the public, a second coin press arrived in 1875 and a third in 1876. Together, the three coin presses were able to mint about 40,000 coins per day.
The main purpose of the Carson City Mint was to mint coinage, producing business strikes that would be released to the general public and the economy of the local area. Areas here in Nevada, but also in other areas in California and such. And it seemed like a natural that the mint would be developed here with the tremendous mining that was developed. And Nevada has the nickname the Silver State, with the Comstock lode so close and other mining districts throughout the state providing bullion for this mint to turn and make into coinage, both gold and silver. When this building was a mint, it had up to 80 to 90 workers. It brought in like $10,000 a month to the frontier community like this, our capital too of the state of Nevada. The types of coins that were minted here, and I think sometimes people don't realize that they were both gold and silver. As far as the gold ones, there was the $5 gold piece, the $10 gold piece, and the $20 gold piece. And then when we think of silver, we think of the Morgan dollars that were minted here at the Carson City Mint, but there was more than just the dollars. There was dimes, quarters, a 20-cent piece, which was an interesting coin that was only minted for 2 years because it was mistaken for a quarter, and they decided to end that. Attempt to use that coinage, and the 50-cent piece, as well as trade dollars, and another type of coin that a lot of people wouldn't know of that was produced.
But it was the Morgan dollar that soon became the favorite among collectors, and those produced at this fabled mint have become some of the most highly coveted. The CC Mint mark reminds us of the Old West, the low mintages, and the mistake that have made the Carson City Morgans popular for the last 130 years.
The mint went on hiatus in 1885 for a period of 4 years as a new administration came in. Grover Cleveland, he was a Democrat and he was anti-silver. And at that point, he and others were considering closing this mint. It was closed and for production, at least in 1886. 1887 and 1888, there was no coins minted. And I think another factor was the Comstock, the great mining district that had provided much of the silver and gold that came here to be produced, was already in decline at that time, and was, a matter of a few more years in the 1890s was really a depression in this area. So interesting enough, Cleveland only served one term, and then a Republican one who was supportive of silver, Benjamin Harrison, and the mint opened again and started producing.
But the mint only operated for an additional 4 years. This was due to the lack of production from the Nevada mines, spiraling silver prices, the stock market panic of 1893, and the re-election of Grover Cleveland. In 1893, Carson City lost its formal mint status, and minting operations were discontinued by acting mint director Robert Preston. For years afterward, the building still served as an assay office where they tested the purity of precious metals. Finally, in 1941, the building was remodeled and for over 75 years has been the Nevada State Museum. Many of the remnants of the old mint still reside here, including Coin Press No. 1.
So it has a great history. It wasn't in existence very long, only 24 years of production, but it's produced some of the great coins in American numismatic history.
During the first year of operation, 1870, the Carson City Mint produced 6 different coins. the seated Liberty Dollar, Liberty Half Dollar and Quarter, as well as the Gold Half Eagle, Eagle, and Double Eagle. In 1871, they released the seated Liberty Dime. Then in 1873, the Trade Dollar. In 1875, the 20-cent piece, and finally, in 1878, the Morgan dollar was introduced. Between 1870 and 1893, the Carson City Mint released over 56 million coins with a face value of nearly $50 million. Altogether, there were 50 issues of silver coins and 57 gold coins.
Tables on a white shark. How do great whites greet each other? And what's really going on when dolphins and white sharks cross paths? In this week's video, we're going to take a look at each of these scenarios. Each one of them I filmed recently. But first, I know you get tired of hearing this, but it matters now more than ever in a world full of AI content. Please support creators who are out there filming real nature. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, comment, and like. It helps a lot more than you know. With your support, I promise I'll keep bringing you the ocean as it is, unfiltered. Authentic and real. And if you stay until the end, you'll see just how close to shore some of these really big sharks get in the peak of summer. I hope you enjoy this one. People often ask me, how often do sharks interact with other species? And my answer is always, every single day. Usually it's with seabirds. Birds aren't the first thing people imagine when thinking of shark interactions. But when it comes to surface activity, it's almost always the birds that sharks seem to greet. I've never personally seen a white shark eat one, though it does happen. More often, the birds simply scatter.
Hypoallergenic clean recommended by dermatologists. No irritating residues, no dyes, no perfumes.
Hey, this is Cole, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Pretzel Cheddar Club is the spicy filet with the pretzel bun.
Because many seabirds lack the oils on their wings that repel water, flight isn't an option. They can only paddle away. This curiosity sharks show towards birds can even feel comical at times. With the birds dipping their heads beneath the water as if to keep an eye on the shark below. Up close, it's easy to forget the commotion that came before. A single shark glides just beneath the surface, its dorsal fin slicing through the water, the world-renowned signature of its presence. Moments like this reveal the quiet side of a predator so often defined by action. But when sharks encounter each other, the tone changes. What might look like a casual crossing of paths is something more. A greeting, a negotiation, and at times, a silent display of dominance. These encounters carry subtle but important social dynamics. Like many animals, sharks establish hierarchy. When sharks encounter each other, it's often more than just two animals passing by. What you're really seeing is dominance hierarchy in action, the subtle way animals decide who gets priority. With sharks, that hierarchy isn't about fighting, but about body language, who approaches directly, who yields space, and who holds position in the water. And more often than not, size is the deciding factor. But sharks don't only navigate hierarchy among themselves. Other species cross their paths too. And when dolphins show up, that interaction takes on a very different character. Once again, size plays a role. The bigger the shark, the farther away the dolphins tend to stay. But sea lions, they play by different rules. Instead of keeping their distance, they often chase sharks, sometimes even harassing them. Here are some of those encounters. As calm as a shark may seem when gliding alone, the ocean rarely stays that way for long. Other animals are always on the move, and sometimes their paths cross in unexpected ways. One encounter in particular always stands out: dolphins. Dolphins, unlike most species, they don't shy away from sharks. In fact, they'll often approach them directly. Here, a pod of 7 dolphins closes in on a shark from behind. At first, the shark startles and veers away. Notice how the dolphins bunch tightly together as they pass. A strategy to appear larger and more intimidating. Strength in numbers on full display. As the dolphins press forward, that shark circles behind them, a classic white shark behavior. But suddenly, a second shark appears. Once again, the dolphins startle it. Just like before, this shark veers off and tries to fall in behind. The dolphins keep moving, leaving both sharks behind, until they meet a third shark. Once again, they bunch tightly, and the shark tries to circle back. I don't often get to see the same pod approach 4 different sharks, but that's exactly what happened. The fourth shark was noticeably smaller. This time, the dolphins broke formation and rushed past. With less of a threat, the need to appear larger vanished. The small shark simply left the area instead of turning back. But up ahead, 2 larger sharks were cruising, and here the dolphins made no approach at all. So many shark and dolphin encounters, and so many different outcomes, all shaped by size, strategy, and caution. It's clear that size plays a big role, not just in encounters between sharks, but in how other species choose to engage them too. However, there are exceptions. What happens when sea lions encounter a white shark? Can boldness and agility outweigh size? It often does. Here, a white shark navigates the kelp bed. 2 sea lions are nearby. What happens next flips the script on size entirely. Watch closely as the shark moves toward the frolicking sea lions. One of them is already aware, dipping its head below the surface to keep a watchful eye on the approaching predator. Then, suddenly, both sea lions dive beneath the water and give chase. They speed toward the shark, at one point coming just a few feet from its tail. Likely surprised, the shark races forward. The tables have been turned. As the pursuit continues, the agile sea lions flank the shark on both sides, driving it completely out of the shallows. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense.
We're here for
What you just saw is a reminder that size isn't everything. Strategy, agility, and boldness can turn the tables, sometimes literally. From the cautious dance between dolphins and sharks to the bold pursuit of sea lions, every encounter tells a story about these animals and how they negotiate their world. And speaking of surprises, some of the biggest sharks in these waters get incredibly close to shore during peak summer. Before we take a look, I want to thank you for watching, liking these videos, and subscribing. Without your support, I couldn't continue to bring you this real, unfiltered nature. Remember, friends, keep it real. Every summer, some of the largest white sharks swim surprisingly close to shore. But why do they come so close? Is it a hunting strategy, a way to navigate currents, or something else entirely? Being in Southern California, it's often thought that it's just mainly juveniles near the shore. However, in peak summer months, I can attest that it's not entirely rare to see enormous sharks frequent the shallows. Just last month, I filmed a 15-footer near the Santa Monica Pier, very close to shore. What's clear is that size isn't the only factor in the ocean. Dolphins use teamwork, sea lions rely on boldness, and sharks themselves adapt, shifting behavior depending on the moment. Each encounter raises questions, and every question brings us closer to understanding how these animals truly live. Thanks for watching.
There we go. But yeah, let's see what else I got for you guys here. I just had a lot of fun stuff I wanted to show, and some obviously interesting stuff scientifically. This has to do with me saying the Democrats will never win an election again, and 2026 midterm is going to be a sweep for the Republicans. I'm anticipating Republicans gaining about 50 seats and the Democrats losing about 30. The other 20 seats coming up through jurisdictional changes in different states, adding to their congressional numbers. But here we go. This is not me talking. This is someone else. He's supposed to be a smart guy. It says Dr. Steve Turley. He's got like 1.4 million subscribers, 31K views or thumbs up. 8 hours ago, almost 300,000 people watched this. So let's see what the heck he has to say about what Neil's already said. And by the way, it's only 8 hours old. I've said for a couple, 2 to 3 weeks, the Democratic Party will never win another major election ever. And I've said before that, even longer ago, I think this is the death of the Democratic Party. It's going to go away and we're going to get another party. Same as around the time of the Abolitionist Party going away and the Republican Party starting up. I think we're in that time in history, and no one's put anything on that. And if you have to include that into historical events and you reassess everything that's going on, if there is indeed a changing of political parties, one being demised for a new one, that changes up a lot of the financial and economic strategies you should have. But anyhow, let's see.
Was gunned down at Utah Valley University just 6 days ago. His killer thought he was silencing the conservative movement. Instead, he unleashed something absolutely unstoppable. The numbers don't lie. Stick me to the very end of this video, because I'm going to show you how grief has transformed into a political awakening all across the country of unprecedented scale, suggesting that the man they killed may have just become more powerful in death than he ever was in life. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you make sense of the madness.
That's actually the definition of a martyr, part of the definition of martyrism.
As the far left desperately tries to stop the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age that you're making happen all over the world. So if you want a front row seat on how you're changing the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, I do have a big announcement here. We got a little surprise for all of you. I've started a new channel. That's right. If you're looking for clear, powerful insights to make sense of the world around us in just 60 seconds, check out our brand new Turley Clip. Charlie Kirk was not just another political commentator. At just 31, he had built Turning Point USA into a conservative empire spanning over 850 college chapters. His organization was credited with registering tens of thousands of new voters and helping flip Arizona for Trump in the last election cycle. Now, many of you played a direct part in this and may not have even known it. We all together on this channel raised tens of thousands of dollars for the Pennsylvania Chase. Remember that, with Cliff Maloney, to knock on 500,000 doors in the single most massive get out the vote campaign in Pennsylvania's history. The Pennsylvania Chase, gang, came out of Turning Point USA. It was the Pennsylvania version of Charlie's Arizona get out the vote campaign. So you all played a direct part in this in some way, shape, or form.
The government is neutering this $39 electric lighter next month, and this is your last chance to get the original version. There's a new electric lighter out there, and
President Trump himself understood Charlie's unique values, stating that no one understood the heart of youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. I mean, this wasn't just political rhetoric. It was recognition of a young man who had fundamentally rewired how conservatives engage young Americans. Now, Charlie's campus debates weren't just intellectual exercises. They were also very effective recruitment operations. Videos of him challenging liberal students racked up millions of views, creating what conservative youth leaders called a permission structure for young conservatives to speak openly. As one Republican leader noted, Charlie Kirk instilled confidence in a generation of conservatives to express their beliefs openly in classrooms, on campuses, and in public forums. And now, in the wake of his horrific assassination, it does appear as if Charlie's already astonishing influence is just beginning. We are now getting voter registration numbers from the last 6 days, and they all suggest a massive, massive surge towards the GOP. Our good friend Jack over at Red Eagle Politics is reporting that the GOP gained 1,200 new voter registrations in both Pennsylvania and North Carolina in just the past week. A significant surge in both states. It suggests something major is happening here in terms of its corroborative value. These numbers appear to be a total repudiation of the Democrats. For example, in Pennsylvania, the number of Democrats changing their registration to Republican outnumbers the other way around, of Republicans going Democrat, by a factor of 3 to 1. 3 times as many Democrats are switching to Republican than the other way around. And it's even worse in North Carolina. The number of GOP voter registrations in less than a week are running 4 times the normal average. 4 times in just the last 6 days. In Arizona, in Maricopa County alone, there have been nearly 1,000 new GOP registrations in just the last 3 days. One testimony from a voter registration booth in Arizona. This is from Marissa Hamilton. She said she hosted a nonpartisan voter registration table at a small local community event in a deep blue Democrat district this morning. Nearly everyone who walked by wanted to update their voter registration record. They all registered Republican. Every single one. Again, this isn't just grief. This is a political awakening of unprecedented scale. This surge represents the most dramatic voter registration shift in conservative politics since Trump's 2016 victory. I love this visual. If current voter registration trends hold, and everything suggests right now that they're only increasing, we're going from a ripple in 2016 to a wave in 2024 to a full riptide tsunami in 2028. But again, this is nothing. This is literally just the tip of the iceberg. We're now finding out that things are even worse than anything the Democrats could have ever imagined in their most demonic nightmares. Wait until you see this. But that's them. That's them. Their world, as we will see, is rightly falling apart as we speak. But what about us? What about our world? Charlie always talked about empowering conservatives, both young and old, to take control of their futures politically and financially. And there's just no better way for you to see your finances flourish than by investing in crypto like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I get it. I mean, if you're like me, the volatility totally turns you off. It intimidates you. The extreme highs are great. But what about the equally extreme lows? Well, guess what, gang? Your experience of that volatility is now officially a thing of the past. Meet Block Trust IRA. They have a super AI system that Bitcoin Magazine has named the #1 crypto technology platform in the world among 1,500 global competitors. And what that super AI does is it works 24/7 to analyze global market data, and it predicts with uncanny accuracy the highs and the lows of crypto volatility. Block Trust IRA then sells at the highs and then buys again at the lows, which mitigates the volatility all the while you stand to make absolutely incredible gains. Gang, that's why I'm a proud client of Block Trust IRA. I love them. I have an account with them. And gang, I just couldn't recommend a company more. Their mission perfectly aligns with President Trump's Make America Great Again agenda, smashing down the barriers between loyal patriots and the financial freedom that you deserve, helping true Americans build impressive wealth in Trump's historic economic boom. So look, it doesn't matter if you're a teacher, a truck driver, small business owner, or if you're a retiree. This is your chance to get in on the crypto market with AI mitigating your volatility risk. It's amazing. So what are you waiting for? Click on that link below or visit TurleyTalksCrypto.com and find out how they can help you join the Trump financial revolution that's finally giving forgotten Americans access to the greatest crypto wealth opportunity in history. And the best part, gang, they are offering you up to $2,500 in bonus crypto when you open up an account with them. You heard that right, $2,500 in bonus crypto. This is an amazing opportunity. Do not pass it. Click on that link below right now. Crypto created 80,000 new millionaires last year. Why not you next? Visit TurleyTalksCrypto.com. That's TurleyTalksCrypto.com. Now, things are even worse for the Democrats than they could have ever imagined here. This massive trend towards registering Republican is happening against the backdrop of what the ultra-leftists at the New York Times were already calling the Democrat voter registration crisis.
It's what I've described in the past as simple anti-Westernism. It's one of the biggest divides of our time, whether or not you've fallen into that cult.
The Times flat out admitted that you can forget the polls. Right? So they are tacitly admitting that the vast majority of those polls that they push, including their own, are absolutely bogus. Forget the polls. The Democrats are flat out hemorrhaging voters. Since 2020, there's been nothing less than a voter stampede away from the Democrat Party. And what they found, and by the way, we've been reporting on this for the last year and a half, so make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We are, in the words of the great immortal Rush Limbaugh, we are on the cutting edge of societal evolution. What the Times editors found was that in every single state that tracks voter registration by party, all 30, the Democrats are losing voters as the Republicans are gaining voters. In every single state, all 30 that track voter registration by party, the Republicans are crushing the Democrats. And they've been crushing them for the last 4 years. This has been an ongoing trend. There's been an astonishing 4.5 million voter registration swing to the Republicans since 2020. And again, we're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it in red states. We're seeing it in blue states. We're seeing it in purple states. Everywhere we look, the Republicans are crushing the Democrats. And now, since Charlie's assassination, that trend has only exacerbated. Glenn Reynolds of the Instapundit has an excellent piece out today where he notes that what we're witnessing here isn't just voter registration spikes. It's what political scientists call a preference cascade, where massive portions of the population suddenly reveal views they've long concealed for fear of punishment. Now, we've talked about this before. Glenn wrote about preference cascades back in November. And what happened there, he said, insanity under Biden, Americans simply had enough. There was a normie revolt where those who were afraid to speak up for fear of being canceled just suddenly en masse began to rise up, raise their voices, and overwhelmingly vote Trump and told everything woke to shove it. This is what's known as a preference cascade, where a critical mass of a population pushes back against the radically unpopular orthodoxies that have been thus far imposed on that population from above. And what Glenn is arguing now is that Charlie Kirk's assassination has triggered exactly this phenomenon yet again, exposing that Charlie's supposedly far-right extremist views are actually mainstream positions held by the vast majority of Americans, if not the world, by the way, as evidenced by all the spontaneous gatherings from New Zealand to Germany to Britain to South Korea, all honoring Charlie's memory. And so Charlie's murder revealed two critical truths, according to Glenn Reynolds. Charlie's murder revealed two critical truths. First, the conservative Americans represent a huge majority who've been systematically bullied into silence by a vocal 20% minority using propaganda and intimidation tactics echoed 24/7 by the legacy media. So FU legacy media. And second, that the same minority has now been revealed to be comprised, at least in part, of what Glenn calls an army of haters. So these are government employees, these are educators, these are professionals, many of them medical professionals, who genuinely believe holding conservative ideas should carry the death penalty.
Trading is not for everyone, but if you are a trader, Plus 500 is the place for you.
But as we've been reporting now for over the last several decades, last several days, the tide is turning rapidly. as we're now seeing consequences follow those demonic antics. Office Depot fires employees who refuse to print Charlie Kirk memorial posters because it's political propaganda. Well, you can think about political propaganda as you stand in the unemployment line. Hospitals have been firing a number of their staff, including doctors, celebrating the assassination. And businesses are showing the door to literally thousands of their employees who reveled in Charlie's murder. This is not a temporary reaction. It's what one observer calls a wildfire starting to spread out of control, building on previous conservative movements like the Tea Party and Trump's first term, but now supercharged by the left's overreach in celebrating political murder. The assassination has burned away the media protection that once shielded leftist extremists, forcing them into the light where companies, schools, and institutions can no longer ignore their toxic influence without facing massive backlash from the newly awakened conservative majority. As unimaginably horrible as Charlie Kirk's assassination was, ironically, it may have just guaranteed the conservative movement's absolute dominance for the foreseeable future.
There we go. I said something about that lots of times. I don't think the Democrats are going to be around in 2023. Actually, I think there'll be a new party. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't see the future. But I do look fast, and I do see that, well, we didn't have the Democrats and Republicans back in 1796, so obviously parties change and new things come, new things and old things go. We'll see. But Democratic Party's going. Republicans probably shortly follow thereafter, but the Democrats are definitely going to change, put on a different face, or just totally go away and another party start. Holy cow. Oh, that's probably because it's Portland. Oh, wait, hold on. Office Depot in Portage, Michigan. Oh, well. Probably because there's too many Somalians there. Somalians are not really good people on a whole. They always have that in the back of the head, even if they're working with you. It's that, yeah, no. But anyhow, it's been about an hour. Let me see if I have anything else here. And speaking of purifying, I purified my water for the past 12, 13, 14 years with reverse osmosis water filter. And then I add what I use Himalayan pink salt to add minerals and whatnot back to the water. But that way I control what's in the water I drink, and I have for years. That's why I'm not too concerned about the fluoride problem that a lot of people have. And on top of that, I use Epsom salt and baking soda in my baths, which pull out heavy metals from your system. It's to help cleanse my system and allow my body to work more normally without all these things they put in us. But anyhow, like I said, let me see here. Oh, yeah, no, I got one more. You guys got to see this. Middle part's boring as hell. I might skip by it, but this is motivational Doc. He's got 10 million subscribers. He's a very wealthy man. Don't ignore this part of the watermelon. It can change your life. Along with that watermelon, with Ryan's what he's talking about. So let's see what he says.
You're a watermelon lover, like most of us throughout the world. I have something that's exciting to share with you. Because when you understand the value, the health benefits of what watermelon can do for your body, it's going to get you excited, motivated, and you're going to even enjoy it so much more. When it comes to the cells of our body, it's so important to stay hydrated. And watermelon comprises about 90% water, making it a great choice for daily water intake. And it has a very low calorie density. In other words, very few calories for its total weight. It's packed with so many nutrients, including potassium, magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin C, as well as lycopene. And that powerful antioxidant, lycopene, has so many healing medicinal properties for many organs, tissues, and glands within our body. And when we think of lycopene, we think of tomatoes. But did you know that watermelon has 40% more lycopene than raw tomatoes? And when it comes to your eyesight, lycopene can prevent or delay the formation of cataracts and reduce the risk of macular degeneration, which is the leading cause of blindness in older adults. And if you're having dry eyes, the lycopene can do wonderful things to help prevent this from happening. And males, as we get older, one of the biggest issues that we have is prostate problems. The prostate starts to get enlarged, becomes inflamed, common conditions like prostatitis, even prostate cancer. But lycopene can do wonderful things for the prostate. And studies have shown that lycopene reduces the inflammation, helps reduce the symptoms of BPH, as well as the serum levels of PSA. And the lycopene in watermelon can do wonderful things for your cardiovascular system. It can lower your bad cholesterol, your LDLs, raise your good cholesterol, your HDLs. The LDLs, your low-density lipoproteins, is what causes plaquing within the arteries. And that's when we block off blood supply going to the heart, which we call a heart attack, or to the brain that we call a stroke.
Okay, first off, I got to tell you guys, this information for watermelon, you think, well, watermelon, I'll go to the store and buy a watermelon. It'll have those good stuff in it. It will not. The way you grow a watermelon to where it has all the nutritional values is you do it the natural way in good, healthy soil. And all you should have to do is give it water if you have good, healthy soil and a microfungi network in your soil. And you will have some of the best tasting watermelon, juiciest watermelon you've ever tasted. If you get it from a mass production spot that sells to retail food stores, what you're going to mostly get is hydroponically grown and chemically controlled watermelon. Does that sound like a natural watermelon? Of course not, but that's what you get from the store. So that's why I suggest grow your own food, because it's actually a lot more healthier than the food you get from a store just by the way they grow it. And that's why I push growing your soil and making your soil in your yard healthy, so things that you grow will be more healthy for you.
But when we increase our good cholesterol, or HDLs,
what's up, deplorable?
That's what searches for the bad LDLs that sits in the arteries and pulls it out, as those HDLs will take it back to the liver so the liver can excrete it from the body. And here is something that's real exciting when it comes to our cardiovascular system. Inside this watermelon, there's L-citrulline, an amino acid. This has the greatest amount of citrulline on the planet. And L-citrulline is converted to another amino acid inside the body called L-arginine. And both of them form what we call nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a gas molecule that causes the tiny muscles within our blood vessels to relax and dilate. So imagine blood coming through this hole right here, which is an artery. And this artery starts to relax. It puts less stress on the heart. It has to pump less energy, meaning it lowers blood pressure to get the blood circulation through those arteries much easier to the cells, tissues, glands, and organs, where your body's going to get more oxygen with so much more ease, taking stress off all the other organs. And something that's very important, the rind of that watermelon, where it's white, that's where tons of citrulline, as well as many other nutrients, reside. And I know that most of us do not eat that rind because it's bitter. We usually go for the colorful watermelon where all the lycopene's in.
Lycopene.
One bit of advice for you. When you're making your smoothies, cut off that white with the watermelon. Put it in your smoothie. I promise you, you'll reap so many benefits. And when it comes to fat loss, watermelons increase arginine levels in your body, an amino acid that can help your body burn fat so much easier. And because it's mostly water and it's hydrating and it's a low-calorie food, it is perfect for weight loss. And when it comes to your skin health, watermelon may do wonderful things for you. It helps fight free radical damage and improves elasticity, reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, making your skin look a lot firmer than before. And the vitamin A, C, and E, as well as the high quality of water, all which promote skin hydration and collagen stimulation. And there's no doubt that this healthy fruit can do wonderful things for the health and wealth of our bodies. So eat your watermelon, because your body will love you. Please share this video with your friends and family. Leave your comments below. And most important, make it a great day.
I tell you what, people, the white part of the watermelon, I am out back eating the watermelon out back. I have to wash my stonework that I got, the flagstone I have, because it's so drippy and pieces will fall and whatnot. But I don't like eating it inside because it's too juicy. And yeah, well, you're gonna get one here in about half hour. And I'll take a knife out there, I'll cut it up, I'll call the neighbors over here and grab you some watermelon. And I got several neighbors that love every time I harvest a watermelon, because I give most of it away, because I know it's very, very good for you, especially the way I grow it, pure, natural, no chemicals. It's got all the good stuff that doctor was just telling you you have. And what I would suggest, even though, like he said, it does not taste good, when you are eating a watermelon, take that last bite into that little white rind. And now there is another video, a recipe. I have not found it yet, but it's on doing like a dehydration of that white rind and then making something with it. It's like a very, very, very healthy snack. So, yeah. So let me see. Yeah, one more thing. Let's see. Nah, I won't show that one. We'll call this one good right here. I hope you guys enjoyed all the information. Again, I've shown over the past 2 years, because I'm kind, helpful, grateful, I've got to know my neighbors. My neighbors allow me to grow some foods in their yard. I think last year, the year before last, I grew like 100 a year of corn in my neighbor's yard behind his rosemary. And it grew fast and it grew well. It grew great. I grow tomatoes. I've shown the tomatoes. I've grown potatoes. I've shown the potatoes. I've grown kale. I've showed the kale. I grow watermelon. I've got my neighbors now, when they redo their yards, putting in fruit plants and trees. Two of my neighbors, right, one across the street, one right beside me, we have there's 2 30 to 40 foot avocado trees. Again, so many food things you can get from that. I plant fava beans over winter because it adds nitrogen to the soil and it helps in my desire to grow the soil and make the soil healthier. And, you know, if you like Chianti, fava beans good with liver, with Chianti. Of course, we all know the movie. Only if you don't like your neighbor. But mustard and there's like alfalfa. They all add nitrogen to the soil. But if you learn how to grow through the microfungi network, and you add micros and azospirillum to the root systems of everything you plant, eventually you'll have a good microfungi network in your yard, in your soil, and anything you put in that soil will naturally hook up with the fungi network in your soil area, and most likely find a symbiotic plant that it'll share resources with. So if you build up a good, strong microfungi network in your soil, you'll find you're going to be a lot better of a gardener. Yeah, it was real corn. I don't do the GMO stuff, bro. That's why my watermelon, I've got 3 different styles of watermelon, but the Jubilee, oh my God, it's a good 2.5 foot long, easy 14 inches plus wide in the center part of it. They're big. And the round ones I have are bigger than basketballs right now, and they're still not ready. as far as watermelon, not corn. I haven't grown corn in two years. Because there's no need for me to grow corn. I just like growing stuff and showing other people what you can grow inside a city if you just have the smallest of yards. And trust me, in California, if you have a yard, I guarantee you it's one of the smallest yards you'll ever have, unless you're a multimillionaire. And even then, the lawn will still be kind of small. So I decided when this prepper thing started, I would show people what you can do in your own yard. That's a good one, Jeffro. There is a microbe out there that eats toxic metals and poops out 24 karat gold. Another reason not to buy gold. They got microbes that create it. And if you had an intelligent government that had a lot of toxic heavy metal waste, you would charge the taxpayer for the disposal of that heavy metal toxic waste, throw tens of trillions of those microbes in there, and have them eat that toxic metal waste and convert it to 24 karat gold. And if that was something that you would think of doing as a leader of a nation, you could probably empty Fort Knox, and with all the toxic heavy metal waste that America produces, if you had enough tens of trillions or quadrillions of those microbes creating 24 karat gold as they eat that toxic metals, you could probably replace what you had in Fort Knox within 10 to 20 years for free. There's so many things, man. And the more knowledge you gain, the more you realize economics is bullshit. We need it, but it's bullshit. It's what the version we have is, it's bullshit. Hey, and Chris, on the video that I'm going to do for my backyard on the watermelon, I'll do a sweep, unintended sweep, showing wood that I'm going to be sticking up to make a kind of greenhouse effect to protect my plants from rain. And you'll see the size of one of my weed plants. It's like 10 foot tall. It's a big bush. It's like 8 foot wide, 10 foot tall. It's freaking huge. I know how to grow pretty good. Yeah, you want I'll get the name of the microbe for you. It's pretty long. Unlike Chad Wolfenschleichen-Hegenbergerdorf, I can get that one, but this microbe's name I can't get. Let's see. And I'm going to do the Google search of microbe that poops gold. And I am going to put in chat what it says. The bacteria called Cupervidius metallidurans, known for transforming toxic metal compounds into solid gold nanoparticles. It survives in harsh environments with high concentrations of metal by processing toxic gold and copper ions and depositing them as tiny inert gold nuggets on its outer surface. Do we know of any microbe that produces silver and platinum? So nature produces gold through several means: biological, through this insect, this microbe, and through natural, plate tectonics, shall we say. But is silver and platinum produced that way? The answer, no. So my knowledge of the compounds and elements and minerals and how they are produced, from my perspective, I cannot honestly say to buy gold. And then you got the whole issue of the new technology to where now we can capture what's known as the angel's gold, for which I guarantee you in 1850, 1849 onward, they have not been able to do. And so out here in California, if I get one of these new sluice boxes, I can go where the old gold miners mined and mined out, quote unquote, mined out the gold, and I can get gold because of the sluicing technology. I mean, it's everywhere. So I cannot honestly say to waste your fiat dollar on gold. Now, things that I can say would not be a waste to put your fiat dollar into is that. And that is one of many reasons why I don't have gold in that saying. Because I know too much about gold. It's everywhere. The human body dies with like 0.2 of a gram of gold in your body. How do things get in your body if it's not everywhere? You don't have silver and platinum in your body when you die, but you do gold. It is so prominent on this planet in microscopic, what they call angels gold, or the dust particulates of gold on this planet, that people actually ingest it by just living on the planet. That does not happen with silver and platinum. To give you an explanation of why I don't say buy gold. And also, it makes me question economics and the value of something that's so prolific and out there. The only thing keeping people, every human out there on the planet from getting gold is they don't want to. But if every person out there on the planet went out to a little part of and got 1 or 2 grams on like a small little lot, if you had just 320 million Americans had gold slot, well, no, Jeff, those people have more than 0.02 grams in their body when they die. I'm talking about the average person. Yeah, Goldschlager. I probably have like a quarter ounce of gold in me because of that stuff. Yeah, no, the average person who doesn't drink that stuff, and especially who didn't drink it on a regular for a couple of years. But yeah, I get your drift there, brother. And yeah, you are right. That is one way that people get an excess of gold in their body. But the average person, if you do an autopsy of them, throw them in acid, break down all the particulates, there'll be 0.02 grams of gold in every human body, which is like what, 1/5 of a gram. That's the average. Hold on, I need to put some milk in the tea. Be right back. 15 seconds. Maybe I should have said 22. There you go, Christopher. Get that new sluice screen. It's a synthetic carpet. Captures the angel's gold. Go out there, you'll come back with gold, brother. Sorry, I had to deposit a little bit of tea so I could make room for the new tea I'm fixing to drink. No, it's not. If you watch the, no, it's not that. It's like a carpet, a synthetic carpet that you got to run your water and your whatever you want to get the gold out of through. a sluice, like a high banker. It's this special kind of carpet, and it like, I don't know. Hold on a second. I might be wrong. Static electric. You might be right. Now I was just thinking the process through because I haven't studied it. I mean, I've heard about it. I've seen it used and all this stuff. I haven't studied. So you actually got me thinking about how it would work. And yeah, it probably would be static electric. They probably got the material to be of the right material to where it would attract the gold. Because I do know that the Space Miner, for which a couple of weeks ago I gave the name of this company that's going to be space mining for platinum. The way they're going to get platinum off of the asteroids is through the use of magnets. They're going to push away all of the other substances except for the platinum. so they're going to get basically the pure platinum just by using no mechanical, robotic. That's a simple magnet and a feeding system. Break the rock up, feed it through. Break the rock up enough to where you can feed it through, and it would push away everything that was not platinum. And so that's the simplistic layman's terms of what's happening. What's up, V. Taylor? Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen any of the airflow. What I can say from my decades in the beekeeping, watch out for new things and definitely do some due diligence on, because like the flow hive, this guy came up with this thing where all you have to do is twist the knob on the back of your beehive and it'll drain the honey. That is the absolute best way to kill your honeybees. But it's a cool technique. He sold thousands of them, killed thousands of hives because he didn't think of the bees, but he was just thinking of money. And he came up with something that was cool, new. People thought was cool and new, and they bought it and used it and found out, oh, yeah, it's just cool and new. It actually doesn't really... Yeah, you do get your honey easy, but it kills the honeybees because the damage it does to the comb. And every time the ease and convenience of using it, if you just crack it in October one time to get some honey, you just fuck the bees out of that winter's crop of food. So they're going to die off and swarm away, and you're not going to have honeybees. So therefore, yeah, is it a good system? But is it a good system for more than 6 months to a year? No, absolutely not. So I guess it depends on your point of view. But yeah, that's what I mean when I say do your due diligence on this stuff, because things that seem like they're cool and instantly think of, oh, that's cool. Think it all the way through. How does that flow hive work? How does it, without going in a hive, break apart the comb to extract the honey? And how much honey do you know can be left for the bees, and will there be enough left for them to overwinter? And those questions aren't answered in that new flow hive design. And that is why it's unsuccessful, because only a mature beekeeper would even think to ask those questions, much less operate it properly. And I guarantee you, when you bought the thing, it didn't come with a manual saying that, because that would have made you want to turn it back in and get your money back. So greed drives a lot of innovation. That's not good. It's just innovative. I don't know, Christopher. Hold on. I don't know about that, brother. Like I said, it's a special type of fabric, and just thinking it through, I was thinking, because it's the microscopic gold, how would they capture it in a moving water scenario and separate it from the heavy metal, the black sand? And so, yeah, electromagnetic, electrostatic, or static electric. I don't know for a fact. It just, that makes sense. Again, I haven't studied it in depth. I do know it works because every program out there that I see, the guys always use that. What is it? There's a guy goes around repairing gold stuff for people, Freddie and Ron or something like that. Freddie Dodge, a very well respected gold in the gold industry, in the mining industry for gold. He goes around. He's got a Discovery Channel program. He's the one who I actually got most of the information of that sluicing technology. And him and that guy go around and the amount of gold that they reclaim before and after from the same dirt like 4 times as much gold's recovered after they perform their little magic and use these new sluice devices to capture the fine gold. Yeah, no, it might be true. I just don't want to claim that it's true. That's all. I don't want people saying, well, Neil said on his program. No, I said it makes sense that that's how it would work. I'm not saying that is how it works because I haven't done the study on it. But yeah, and yes, it would be funny. And I imagine where the 70s carpet wouldn't come in because it would probably trap too much of the excess smaller stuff to where the new synthetic carpet design, I guess, or whatever, was more designed just to capture the angel's gold or the fine particulates of the gold specifically, and not all the fine particulates, where I believe the 70s carpet would probably catch all the smaller particulates, which would make it a harder extraction and cleanup process and a lot more time consuming. But I don't know. I've never done it. But that's just thinking through on the top of my head using what I do know. But anyhow, gold is everywhere. I actually found pyrite when I lived in Concord in Bishop Park, real exclusive neighborhood. And my second cousin owned a house there. I stayed with her. She was like 40 years older than me, 36 years older, something like that. There was a sinkhole that showed up. She had a corner lot, and it showed up on the corner lot and took part of her. She had some rosemary, kind of fucking fell in the hole partially. And I was out there looking at it the morning of that. Everyone noticed it happening, and I was putting out cones that I had from work around it and making all the phone calls, get people in to take care of it. And I saw some gold-like shit blinging out of the ground. So I, got a little sifter and then went through there and I looked at it. I was like, no, this is way too shiny. It's pyrite. But anywhere you have pyrite, you have gold. And Walnut Creek, which is the town, which is a very, 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 very expensive town to live in. It's called Walnut Creek because it used to be a walnut grove. And root systems of trees gather the angel's gold. So basically underneath every one of those houses, each and every one of them probably has 2 to 3, maybe 4 locations where there's concentrated angel's gold. I just wait till housing market crashes and buy some old houses that they've never replaced the 70s carpet in. But anyhow, I have now nothing else to show. All the videos I wanted to show, I showed. Thanks to Chris coming in, interacting, we've been able to get a little more information out of me. Because I'm good at rambling if someone needs the conversation. Because I am full of a lot of bullshit knowledge. Very diverse subjects. Oh, I've just been a sponge my whole life. Whoever hung out with whatever they were into, I got information on that, and I tend not to forget too much. And then you just put shit together after 5.5, 6 decades. It's only a matter of time where that type of person is known as smart. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and end this. It's been about an hour and 35 minutes. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up on this impromptu live stream. And thank you very much. I hope every one of you has a blessed week. And I hope each and every one of you makes great financial decisions and profits from what's going to happen. And it is going to happen. I don't know. We'll call it a financial crash. I don't know. Something very close to bad will most likely, odds are most likely it'll happen. But having said that, in 2008, when they said it was a bad financial crunch, I, as a dumbass iron worker, could only make trades on the Vanguard Iron Workers annuity account at the end of business day every day. And I lost a lot on trade, but I was able to take and gain, I think it was like 13 or 15% in the 2008 crash, even only being able to have my trade go through at the end of business day. So you can make money on the downside if you keep your head about you and you know what you're looking at, and you're well versed in what you're looking at. You can actually there's more money to be made in a down market than an up market. That's all I can say. You guys take care, do your own research, and gain knowledge. God bless each and every one of you. I'll talk to you next time.